Hey guys, what's going on? Well, the next one is the Alaskan Hairy Man, or Bigfoot. They called it the Urayuli. I'm gonna butcher that. I do apologize, but let's just call it the Alaskan Hairy Man for now. Now, the stories of the sightings are reported globally, but Alaska, it has its own version. It's the most extreme version, standing over 10 feet tall. Yeah, 10 feet. With shaggy, coarse hair, elongated arms, and foul-smelling ape-like creatures said to live in the forest near the area of Lake Ilamana. Well, it's Iliamna. It's in Alaska, according to the Inuit natives. The people of the Inuit native people, the hairy man, or Bigfoot, is descended from species creatures known as the Tornitist, Tornits. The hairy man is known to be a very peaceful creature, unlike the Kushtka, who are very violent in nature. Those come from southeast Alaska. More on later, not later this month, guys. More on that. Yes, you're gonna see that too. It's gonna be very painful. They They say that the Bigfoot, or Alaskan Hairy Man, or Inurayu, the Urayuli, are children that have become lost at night, and they form transformed into the Alaskan Hairy Man, or Bigfoot, or the in Urayuli. Their cry is said to sound like a loon. Now again, there's not much on these creatures. That's how it is at sometimes, especially when Sarah's doing the research sometimes. She's neglectful on some of the things she looks up. Huh. I wish this wasn't so sometimes. Well, here's what happened. After we do that thing for Steve says he has a friend named Ron. We're calling him Ron. He called him something else, but we're calling him Ron. Not protect the innocent, I just can't pronounce his name. And I don't want to butcher it. So, he says to meet Ron outside the forest near that lake. I'm going to call it Lana. Lake Lana. Lake Lana. It's not its name, but I don't want to feel like spelling it every time I try to say it, because I'm horrible at words. I'm more of a man of action. My arm still hurts. Well, we went out there to the lake near around Ron's place. He said he's been having an Alaskan hairy man, or a Bigfoot, or a ray, which is I'm going to call it, a ray, around his place at night, making noise, making the loon sound, the sounds of a loon. Ones in America, from what I know from a friend of mine, I told Ron, is that from a friend of mine, they make the sound of an owl. Didn't want to go too much into that because it's a different story. I might or might not tell. Well, he said that it's every year about this time he hears that sound near his house. And I asked him why. Well, he said he had a grandson, he do believe, like I said, this is their belief, that went missing at night at one point. He went into the woods, I think hunting or something, I don't remember exactly what he said, with his father, and he went missing. And it was his birthday, about this time of year. Tomorrow will be his birthday. Well, he wanted pictures of this thing, so we set up cameras around the area where it's been seen, and near his house. I told him if it is his grandson, then he'd come around if they heard the noise of a party. That's what I said. That's what I told him. He said, "Well, that sounded like a good idea." So Ron and his wife set up a traditional birthday party for his grandson. Now, it is very cold in Alaska at night. I'm glad the lady whose child I brought back to her made me a coat. It was so nice. It was because she couldn't pay me, and I didn't want any type of physical payment. But, she gave me that coat, made me a coat, and I was happy. Well, she gave me a coat that was new that she made. Anyways, I was wearing it, sitting out there warm and comfy, while everybody else was like, Jim was like looking at me like, I hate you right now. And I said, I don't care. I got a nice coat. I'm warm. I hate the cold. Sarah was, for some reason, wearing my leather jacket, which I brought, which was a big mistake for me, but it was big on her. She was also wearing my hoodie. My hoodie. Yes, it was Guinness. A green Guinness hoodie. Which was gray. And had Guinness on it. I loved that hoodie. She was wearing it. It pissed me off. I did nothing, said nothing. She looked at me with her nice blue eyes and smiled. I gave her an evil look and sat there in my warm coat. I said, I'll take first shift. Because I had a nice warm coat. Well, they were having that party, and I was waiting out on the balcony. They had the window open loud and more enough where you could hear the scream, the happy shouting and all that. Next thing I know, whoosh! A rock went clean over my head. And I'm not talking about a small rock. I'm talking about one the size of my head. Then I started hearing noises of what sounded like a bird. It wasn't an owl. And then whoosh! Another rock went over my head. This time it was a little bit small, a little bit bigger, and hit the ground on the side, hit the lake. And then I started hearing some breaking of branches, more loon noises, what I assumed to be a loon. I didn't want to screw up, so, I looked it up, and yeah, of course it was a loon. Of course, when I turned on the phone to make a loon noise, it made one back. And then it stopped, throwing things at me. So I pushed the loon noise again. It got louder and closer. Okay with this? Not really, no. The trail cams and the camera, the trail cam started going off near the house. And also the cameras that we had, they were capturing the movements. We hung them pretty high in the trees. Pretty high. High enough to where you'd have to rip the tree out of the ground to get at them, or climb them on a very tall ladder, which we did when we went to retrieve them the next day. We retrieved the cameras and the footage, showed them to our clients. It was a rather eventful night for me because one of the rocks, I looked at it, cracked the other rock, and split it in two. That could have been my head. And the smell that happened when we were down in that area, oh God, it stunk something bad. Smelled like rotten fish. Oh god, almost stomach turning. Pungent odor. So bad it was like if you walked in a dump and took your mask off at the most recent rod 2 day old fish amongst 2 day old. Put it this way, it's like a rotting corpse. You walking into a room with a rotting corpse that's fresh, that's 3 days old, decaying on a floor, enamel floor, with a dead skunk next to it, and it's 2 days old as well. That bad type of smell, very foul smell. And we retrieved the cameras, we got the footage. And he wanted us to stay another day or so. I asked him why. He didn't tell me.